Hello everyone who has stumbled upon my channel. I am super excited that you have found me. I'm going to tell you a Dogman encounter today, but before I do, I just want to give you a little bit of backstory on me. I actually wanted to do this and have this YouTube channel about a year ago. About a year ago, I did start a different YouTube channel for personal reasons on this subject, which I will probably go into later. And I had requested that anyone who had an encounter send in their story if they wanted to. And I got probably 20 or so really good stories sent to me. But unfortunately, at the time, to be honest with you, I think I just chickened out, really, is what I did. This is not an easy thing to do, to put yourself out there and come on here and, tell these encounters and talk about your own encounter. It's just, it's not easy. And if any of you listening have stumbled across any type of cryptid in your lifetime, you will fully understand what I mean when I say that. However, I have decided that it's time. I'd like to do this now. I'd like to get these people's stories out there, my story out there, and shed some light on this extremely, rare topic that really and truly, unless you are in the circle of the Bigfoot or the cryptid world, you're just laughed at for even thinking it or mentioning it or anything like that. So I'm probably going to put a link to an email probably in my next video where any of you who have had an encounter can send it in to me. You do not have to give me your name. You can remain completely anonymous. You only share as much information as you want to, basically. And so I'll probably get that all together in my next video. Also, if anyone has any like artwork or music they're willing to let me use for this channel, I would be oh so grateful and oh so happy. But without further ado, I'm going to read to you the first Dogman encounter that I'd like to share with you all. This was sent to me about a year ago by a man who lives in New York. He did not want me to share his name. He did not want to give specifics on his location. He was very wary about that, so I promised him that I would not tell his name or, anything specific about the location or the area. It is a very rural area, I will say that. And his encounter is just it's very scary. Very scary encounter, so I thought it would be a good one to kick off my first video with. So leave me some feedback if you want. I'm more than welcome to, hearing it, and I hope you enjoy. So here we go. Here is my encounter in the best details I could remember. I am an avid outdoor enthusiast. I enjoy hiking, fishing, rock climbing, and just about anything you can enjoy while being outdoors. I was a Boy Scout, and then later on in life, volunteering to teach kids survival skills. So I am very acclimated to the woods and all the creatures one may encounter. However, nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared my mind to handle what I am about to tell you. It was early summer, and I was going on a solo fishing trip one day. No camping, just spending the day at one of my favorite spots fishing. It's about a 45-minute hike up a beautiful mountain to this spot, and it's also not very well known. A gem of sorts that only locals are aware is there. I had been there for about 3 hours, had caught one keeper, and was having a really good day. Around the 3.5-hour mark, I started to hear what I presumed was another person walking up behind me. I thought it odd, since I come here often and I'm almost always the only one here. But I thought, well, I'm not the only one who knows of this spot, so could be. But no one ever walked up. I even hollered, "Hello," at one point, when the walking sounded like it was coming from all around me. But no answer. Just then, I heard a strange kind of growling sound, like a guttural, strange mix of a baby crying and a deep dog growl. The instant I heard this, I was immediately uneasy. In all my years, I have never heard such a sound in the woods, or anywhere for that matter. All I had on me this day was a small knife and bear spray. I fumbled in my pockets for my knife. Behind me, I am hearing heavy walking now. I go and I stand on a flat rock so I can see all around me, and I still do not see anything. This makes me even more uneasy. Just then, from behind a pine, about 60 feet, maybe more, I see what I can only describe to you as the most wicked-looking animal I have ever seen. This creature has one hand, and I say hand because it had what appeared to be a hand with long claws around the tree, bracing itself while it is slowly peering at me from behind the pine. On immediate glance, I think, is this a bear? No. Is this a dog? No. I thought this because I guess at the time, it's the only two things my mind could put together as to what I was seeing. It had pointy ears like a German shepherd that I literally saw twitching and turning as if it was listening very carefully for something. I could see its thigh from behind the tree. It was medium-length black fur with some dark brown mixed in. A massive thigh muscle. It reminded me of those guys who run track, just an absolutely massive thigh. I can feel my whole body tremble with fear. Now, I have encountered mountain lions and even bears, and never once felt this kind of fear. Just then, I moved my right arm up slightly with the hand I was holding my knife with. Why I did this, I don't know. But when I did, this thing starts running towards me with the agility of an all-star athlete. In fact, its movement seemed almost fake. It ran kind of side to side in a strange jumping way. As this beast is coming at me with full speed, I do the only thing I can think of. I screamed at the top of my lungs, simultaneously waving my hands above my head. This thing stops on a dime, so close to me that I can now smell him. He smells like body odor and maybe wet dog. The smell was so strong, it almost made my eyes tear. The creature is huffing and it's beginning to show its teeth, but not like a dog would. Almost like it's grinning, almost like it wanted me to make another move. I know it sounds crazy, but I almost felt like it was saying, yeah, come on, challenge me. Now, when I say grinning, I don't mean like a smile. I mean like the Joker's grin, but more evil, almost dare I say, demonic. I remember thinking to myself at that moment, what kind of animal can grin like that? Animals don't grin. The creature then begins to walk in like a semicircle in front of me, back and forth, baring its very sharp teeth, growling and grunting. I recall looking at the hands of this thing, thinking that they were bigger than my head. As it walked, it sort of drew its fingers up into a fist and then released them. He did this a few times. His hair looked matted in some spots, and in some spots it was longer and smooth. I could actually see muscles under the hair of fur that moved with him, muscles that should not have belonged to an animal, muscles that most humans don't have, except for maybe roid-popping weightlifters. He would breathe in and out, and when the creature would exhale through its nose, it almost sounded like a horse. He was so close that I could see the dirt under its nails. I could see bits of maybe leaves in its hair. It had a scar under one of its eyes that almost looked infected. Its eyes seemed black with a deep red, maybe maroon tint to them. I could feel this thing's hatred for me. I know how insane that sounds, but it's like it was emanating hate. The skin on its face was a deep dark gray. The inner parts of his hands were as well, with some spots leathery and worn looking. This creature made me feel like an ant in its presence. It had to have been a good 9 feet tall. Its feet also had claws. At one point, he almost balanced himself on the balls of his feet when he paced back and forth. I just stood there in such fear. I am embarrassed to say that I urinated on myself. And when this happened, the creature began to sniff the air wildly, walking back and forth. I did the only thing I could think to do. I ran. I left behind my pole, my pack, my fish. I just ran. I ran so fast and so far for so long that my chest was burning. I could hear the creature running behind me. I could see him dodging in and out of trees. As it ran, it roared, and it roared so loud it made my chest vibrate. It made my ears hurt, but I kept running, only looking back a few times to see how close it was. At one point, I remember not hearing anything behind me anymore, and finally having the courage to stop. I looked all around me, and directly behind me, to my right, there he was, his chest moving up and down, just as fast as mine was, staring at me, and he gave out one last roar at me. I began to run. I ran back in maybe 20 minutes. How I did that, I'll never know. Pure fear and pure adrenaline, maybe. I remember vividly getting back to my car and having the overwhelming fear come over me that I had left my keys behind in my pack, and then relief when I felt them in my pocket. I hopped in my car, sped off, and drove until I got home. I am almost positive I ran multiple lights. Of course, I did not mean to, but you have to understand. I was so overcome with fear and shock. I was not thinking straight. I never went back for my items. It was an expensive pole too. My pack, not so much. And it just had some food, water, and lures and such anyways. I just couldn't bring myself to go back. And I didn't want to ask anyone to go with me either and risk seeing this thing again and put someone else in danger. Plus, why would I tell them I left behind everything I had brought up there with me? No one would, or probably could, believe such a thing. I had heard stories of Bigfoot and always chalked it up to people having fun, telling campfire stories, but I had never heard of Dogmen until I began to do some searching after my encounter. I am sharing this with you because I want to warn others to be aware of the danger that is truly there. I want people to know it's real and it's true. I don't know where they come from or how they come to be, but they are truly real and people deserve to know. Especially people who have families and children who enjoy the outdoors. They should know they need to always be vigilant, always bring protection and be on guard. I am not saying to live in fear, but be aware. I am finally able to go back in the woods again. It has been 1 year since my encounter. Thank you for allowing me to share this. Anonymous. So I hope you all enjoyed my first reading of a Dogman encounter. Like I said, leave me any feedback. Feel more than welcome to. I will get an email to put down underneath my next video probably, so that any of you who have anything you'd like to share with me, you can feel more than welcome to do so. And thank you so much for taking the time to stop by and listen to my channel. And I hope you all have a wonderful night or day or whatever time you might be listening to this. Thanks so much, y'all. Bye.